Chargers Now is presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Will Ortner, and today we are going to be going through what the current depth chart looks like for the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, we are recording this video early on in the week, so there's a chance that by the time that you watch this, maybe a free agent signing has been made. It's also possible that maybe a player has been cut, although it does feel like to us where we are at right now in the week that this is going to be pretty consistent. So just remember that at the time of recording, this is when this video was rock solid. Make sure that you hit that sub button right now. We are trying to catch up to the rest of those in the AFC West. Remember, the entire month of May, we are in a sub battle. Is there any chance, any world that we can get to 1,000 subscribers? But more importantly, can we beat the Raiders report, the Chiefs report, and the Broncos breakdown? Let me know down below in the comment section, and make it simple. Just hit that sub button. Then text me, comment, say, hey, I'm subbed. All right, let's talk about the Chargers quarterback depth chart right now. As it sits, Justin Herbert, Trey Lance, and DJ Uiagalelei are the quarterbacks on this roster. Obviously, Herbert is the starting QB there. It's very clear that no real changes have been made or are going to be made. Lance ended up getting re-signed in NFL free agency. I thought that was a pretty smart move and a pretty smart decision there for the team with him. I just look at this crew and it doesn't make sense to really make any big changes there. When we look at the Chargers running back room, I find this crew very fascinating because I think that there are a couple of different ways that they can go with this team. In my personal opinion, I really like what this running back crew is built of because you have guys like Omarion Hampton, Keaton Mitchell as well, someone that can easily add into this running back unit, help propel it forward. Kimani Vidal, I like everything that he has been able to do for this roster in the past. You just have a lot of weapons with this crew. It feels like it can be very interesting, and what they do next year to help succeed and help push this Chargers team forward is going to be very important. They just have to stay healthy. If they stay healthy, all of the main running backs have had injury issues. They're going to be a pretty darn good crew. I'm going to talk more about the rest of this Chargers depth chart and the rest of this Chargers team. But first, I got to let you know about my friends over at Prize Picks. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. With playoff basketball finally here, there's no better time to cash in than with our friends at Prize Picks. And I'll tell you this, the app, super easy to use. To qualify for a Prize Picks lineup, pick 2 to 6 players and select more or less on stat projections, including points, rebounds, assists, three-pointers, and several others across all sports. If you're more of a baseball guy or gal, you can choose stats such as hits, home runs, and strikeouts. With the new social feeds feature, you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. That includes myself and producer Cyril. You follow us on Prize Picks and get the picks before they even get posted on the show. I have a lineup for the football action going on later on this year. Fernando Mendoza, less on his regular season games started. Jeremiah Love, less on his rush yards. And Jordan Tyson, more on his receiving yards. New user offer. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. Clickable link to download the app is in the comments and description. When we look at the wide receiver position for the Los Angeles Chargers, obviously Quentin Johnston just got his 5th-year extension. Like that a lot. Obviously, Tre Harris is the starter right now at that wide receiver 2 spot, or receiver 3, really. I could see Brennan Thompson jumping his way into that list. A ton of wide receiver talent on the Chargers depth chart right now, but don't be shocked if you see a couple of these guys end up being moved quickly aside. Mike McDaniels likes having a lot of wide receivers, but he also likes having a lot of quality tight ends. So that's going to be something interesting for all of us to take a look at. When we look at the Chargers tight end room, I actually think it's a deeper unit than most people realize. And I think you're going to start seeing more of 2 tight end sets for this team. I really like the addition of Charloe Kolar in the offseason. I think that was a great free agent signing. He's going to step into being a wide receiver 2. Really good blocker, which is what's going to be the most important thing in Mike McDaniel's offense, of course. And I really like the way that unit is shaping up. Offensive line. Now, obviously, this is the group that needed the most work. Right now, we're having Jake Slaughter slotted in as the starting left guard. Obviously, going to be a ton of competition there. Also, Slaughter could be potentially a backup at those center spots. I like the rest of the guys that are in this crew. Obviously, Isaiah World coming off a torn ACL. I don't know if he's quite in a position to be able to really compete to be on this team. I expect him to be on the PUP list to start the year, but I do think once he comes off the PUP list, he will make this team, which is, of course, why I had him as one of my UDFAs to make the team. It's a really interesting group. This entire offense is going to hinge on what they can do. Are they going to be successful next year? Because if they are not, then I don't know that this Chargers team is going to be in a position to really have a lot of success. It's really going to be all about this offensive line. Last year, they were a complete dog-ass. Somehow, some way, this team still made it into the playoffs. If they're halfway decent, even average, this is a Super Bowl contending team. Who is your favorite player on the roster right now? Don't just say the quarterback. Go in and find someone that you like the cut of their jib or the way that they talk or, whatever is something that you really, really like about them. Let me know your personal opinion down below in the comment section. All right, let's look at the D-line group. Next, very interesting crew here. I think that this group is a position that is going to be able to really grow. Now, they weren't a bad unit last year, but I think the addition of Dalvin Tomlinson gives this team another interior presence. I think that Caldwell is going to be able to continue to grow. And then I think that you might end up actually getting some pass rush from this crew. You saw a little bit last year, but I think it'll grow even more. I think it's a very solid group, and I think that defensive coordinator, Chris O'Leary, is going to be able to get the most out of them. And at the end of the day, that is what is the most important. Next, we're going to look at the linebacker crew. This is a little bit of an older crew. You got some elder statesmen on the roster, and I do think that is important to kind of talk about. Khalil Mack is going to obviously probably last year, maybe second to last year. He's going to help bring along Akeem Mesidor, who I am really excited to see for this team. Obviously, Thule's continuing to grow. He's going to become an elite edge rusher in the National Football League, and he's really going to put himself on the map. Now, I like Henley and Perriman. Obviously, Perriman's on the older side of things. Troy Dye, also someone as a backup for this team that I do think is going to have a positive impact in the long run for the Chargers. If you love the Los Angeles Chargers, then make sure you hit that thumbs up button on today's video. As we go through the roster, we're seeing that they're continuing to grow, and they're getting better and better with the additions that they've made. I don't want to sit here and say that General Manager Joe Ortiz had the best offseason because I still think that there were some opportunities and there were some options for Ortiz to help build this roster a little bit better, in my personal opinion. But I'm not going to sit here and say that he was absolutely atrocious. Next, let's look at our cornerback at depth chart. This is a fun crew. Derwin James, I am going to sneak him onto this crew just because he largely plays that big nickel position, even though he is technically, of course, a safety. Cam Hart and still have done a fantastic job for this team. I think that this group is really, really freaking strong. Now, obviously, Derwin James kind of helps push that crew a little bit ahead of others in my personal rankings. But to sit here and say that these guys don't know how to play football would just be an incorrect statement, to say the least. I think they keep getting better and better, and I think that in defensive coordinator Chris O'Leary's system, I don't see why they can't be and reach all-time greatness. We'll look at the safety crew next. It's a little bit of an older crew, but definitely a lot of skills there. I think they're going to be really good this next season. Now, Tony Jefferson is going to have to help push along some of the things that have made him great to guys like Jennison Smith and Noah Havinger if he ends up making the squad. But I look at that safety room. You had to get better, and more importantly, you had to get younger. And I think you were able to do that specifically in the draft. So as we're going into kind of mini camp season, OTA season, and of course, getting ready to go into training camp, which actually isn't that far away, end of July more than likely for a lot of these guys. I really like this defensive back unit. And when you look at the entirety of the defensive back crew as a whole, there's a lot of successful football players on that crew, man. There's a lot of guys that are going to make a lot of plays on Sundays. And there's a very good crew here that I think you're going to see a lot of for the Chargers. Going to be very happy with their performances on Sundays. Last, let's look at that ST unit. Obviously, Dicker, the kicker, is only going to be nails for this Chargers team. Josh Harris, J.K. Scott, another crew of specialists there. I really like Keaton Mitchell as your return guy. Davis as well. But when you've got the speed that Mitchell has, anytime you can get the football in his hands, that's only going to be a good thing. This is a good, solid crew. It's not going to be the best ST unit in the National Football League, but it's going to be a damn good one. Grade the Chargers depth charts down below in the comment section, A, B, C, D, or F. Very interested in what you have to say on what the Chargers have created here in LA. I think I'm going to give this team a B+. Like I said, I think if they were willing to spend a little bit more in free agency or make a big trade, then general manager Joe Ortiz would have had the ultimate or perfect offseason. But right now, I will say I do like what they have built and what they have created. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Remember, at the time of recording, those depth charts are 100%. If there is a move that gets made, though, we'll make sure we have that video out on the channel for you. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Make sure that you bolt up.